Yeah, I mean, dude, I can release the game whenever I want. I can't move, I can't swing, I can't crit, I can't dash. By the way, my vault standing, it's supposed to like display my stats. They're not there either. So it took away my stats as well.
After waiting 6 months, we finally got the re-release of Type Soul, and it wasn't great. Now hi, hello. My name is Cookie, and I'm a Roblox streamer who's most notable for having done both the Chicken Dance and the Macarena on stream. Now, before we get into the video, I do actually have a couple of things to say. It appears that every time I play Type Soul, a wave of amnesia comes over me, and I end up kind of forgetting everything, so this video ended up taking a lot longer than I wanted it to because I had to go back and play the game to figure out everything. Another thing is, not all of this footage is mine. Unfortunately, I really wasn't able to get enough footage to make a full-length video like I wanted to, and thankfully, I ended up having someone who could help me get all this footage, so if you hear this, Liam, thank you, I really appreciate it. One last thing is 4.2k views. Wow. You guys really liked that Deepwoken video, didn't you? I really appreciate all the support on that video, and it was kind of a surreal experience to see that many views on a single video. I'll continue to try and make content like that since you guys enjoyed it so much. Now, Type Soul is a PvP, PvE, combat game based off of the anime Bleach that's been around for about 2 years now. Now, I'm sure everyone has heard of Type Soul, mainly because of a certain controversy, I'm assuming. Cough, cough. But I don't think everyone's played Type Soul, and I hope to answer with this video whether or not Type Soul is worth the time that you have to put into it, and if it's worth playing at all. Unlike my other 3 videos, I'm actually going to be starting off with the negatives this time, seeing as that's kind of all that comes to mind when I think of Type Soul. Which isn't a great sign to be fair, but... On to negative numero uno. This game looks really bad. I mean really bad. The VFX are kind of the only good thing in this game, and it's only good because everything it's surrounded by is shit. And I'm not just saying this because I think of it, I'm saying this because a majority of people think of this. The colors are bland, the models are flat, the outfits are terrible and looks like I could draw them on the back of a fat person with a crayon. Nothing in this game looks good, except Freaky Bawa, that very beautiful worm. Now I did notice that upon their re-release, they did try and make things look better. I'm talking about the new area, of course, and I mean, it kind of works. It looks okay, I guess. But looks aren't only for the environment. Looks are pretty important for animations, and going into the second negative, the animations in this game don't look great. Now, like I said before, the VFX look good, but the VFX only come after the animation is done. The animations itself are usually fast and not great looking. Kind of hard to react to, honestly. Most of the animations consist of either leaning forward, putting your sword in the air, or putting your hands in the air. Something usually comes out after it, and usually really fast. Now, there's the obvious blah blah skill issue, blah blah, not fast. Shut up, okay? I want to have a fun time and not have the reaction speed of a Greek god, okay? Shut up. Now, another negative about this game is the M1s. Your attack via your weapon doesn't feel very useful, and from what I see, most of the time people just use it to either interrupt channels or to continue their Chinese 15-second long ABA combo. And in the same category, I feel like the parrying system also isn't very impactful. Now don't get me wrong, there is a parrying system, and if you spend 37 hours a day training it, you'll actually parry. A lot of the top players in Type Soul know how to parry, and it looks kind of fun on their screens. But unfortunately, for the average schmuck like you and I, the parrying won't actually work, and it's more of a block and get guard broken with a potential parry in the mix. Our next negative is the PvE system. Now, everything I'm comparing it to Deepwoken because these two games are the most alike, and the communities are actually pretty intertwined. Now, the PvE in this game is total dog shit. You use a very small portion of it for progression, and everything else is used in either hell mode, boss battles, or boss battles again. There's overworlds, and then there's this like one area, I don't remember what it's called, but... And it's unfortunate that you have to do boss fights, because you need gear to survive first of all, and you need to do a boss fight to get into hell so that you can get your true form. And that leads directly into our next negative. Hell is such a terrible place, and the fact that you have to spend as much time in it as you do is such an annoying thing. And let me go ahead and make sure I'm not wrong. We're over here, right. True mode requirements. Right. AFK 25 hours in hell. Yeah, nobody wants to do that. It's such a stupid idea, and I don't know why they ever decided to add that. And I don't mean they, as in a group of people. I'm mostly talking about our next negative, Cetro. Now, Cetro could have a video all to himself. That's just how bad he is. But I won't do that, so here's the quick rundown of him. Cetro was the lead developer of TypeSoul, and was exposed for having above the legal amount of CPU on his computer. Now, it's not like video game companies aren't known for having pedophiles as their lead developers. I mean, as ironic as it is, Roblox is a perfect example. But Cetro is a little bit of a worse pedophile, if that's even a thing, seeing as he's sent videos of... I'm actually not going to get into that. I'm pretty sure this video will get taken down. Now, getting back to the topic at hand, Cetro said that the game could be released at any time, and he's just waiting to release it, and that there was 6 months of content waiting for us. He couldn't release the game at any time, and those 6 months worth of content was found in a single month, maybe even less than that. On top of that, Cetro is just sort of a cornball, going into a dev versus YouTuber battle while using a dev spec that practically made him immortal, and then denying it and refusing to elaborate further on it. And then releasing his stuff mocking the YouTuber for losing. On top of that, he's also given a very, very, very exclusive item, and one that no one has gotten yet, to his E-Kitten. So, you can kind of imagine how this guy is. Now, thankfully, he has resigned as being the lead developer, and despite the fact that he's made his mark on TypeSoul, I hope that this continues to make the reputation for TypeSoul just a little bit better. What is this? Hello?
He's back on the dev team.
What? Alright, scratch that last part. He's back on the dev team. I don't know how. Now, looking at the timeline, I do realize that it's at the 7-minute mark, so I'm not going to talk about negatives anymore, and instead, we're transitioning over to our positives. Jokes aside, I had a really tough time coming up with positives about this game. I actually still am having a tough time thinking of positives. Do you know what? Brayden, come do my job.
Yes, boss. On to the positives of TypeSoul. TypeSoul has hours and hours of content. Up to 25 hours in hell to get true mode. But, other than that, there's a lot of things you can do. From customizing your character, to perfecting your build, farming for a special weapon, or even working to unlock your mode. Even when you finish this content, there is an endless amount of PvP content. Whether that's ranked, guild wars, or even wiping people in hell, if you're a Satanist. That brings me straight to the second positive of TypeSoul, the skill expression. Now, I will say that the learning curve is harsh, requiring a large time dedication to even be considered decent at the game. However, it is relatively rewarding in the end. A lot of the player base is very dedicated to the game, meaning, lots of the time, while you're still new at least, you're going against players much better than you. However, if you decide to put in the effort, the PvP can feel much more enjoyable because you're not getting constantly stomped in every fight. Don't fret. If you're bad at the game, you can just pop Bankai on a group of unsuspecting mutts, spam all your mode moves, and win anyways. The modes really make TypeSoul for me, adding a whole new layer to what I would consider to be a boring combat system. Now, obviously, TypeSoul is based on Bleach, and modes aren't TypeSoul's revolutionary gameplay mechanic, but I can still appreciate how well they're implemented into the game. Every mode feels not only powerful, but also fun. There really is no better feeling than being about to lose a fight, then popping your mode and absolutely destroying your opponent. And why stop at one person? Some modes, especially the newly implemented true versions, literally allow you to fight full servers and win. Another good thing about TypeSoul is the frequent updates. The game updates weekly, with at least a little content added every time. There's always something new coming out, and if no new content is added, the update is usually directed towards bug fixes and balancing, which is never a bad thing. Lastly, there's the factions. Everybody, and I mean everybody, has found themselves glazing their favorite Bleach faction at one point or another. And TypeSoul takes this to a whole new level. I constantly see faction pride amongst the players of TypeSoul, with most people associating with one specific faction, whether that be Soul Reaper, Hollow, Quincy, or the newly added Fullbring. There is a constant beef between the players associating with these factions, resulting in propaganda, sabotage, and even conflict. In my opinion, this makes the world feel really alive and fun, making you feel inclined to take part in these conflicts. Despite the countless negatives of this game, the one thing that really makes up for all these shortcomings is how fun it is to play with friends. The experience is really indescribable and nothing but enjoyable, especially if you don't take the game too seriously. All it takes is a little bit of humor mixed with good company, and it can make an unforgettable night of fun.
Alright, you can go now. Shoo, scram. I'm back.
Yes, master.
Now, that was my servant Brayden. He had some good points, but ultimately his opinion doesn't matter because his name isn't Cookie Johnson 27. So, for the final part of the video, I will be stating whether or not I think Type Soul is worth the amount of time you have to put in, and overall if it's actually just worth playing. Now, Type Soul is a decent game. It's not better than Deepwoken, at least not in my opinion, but I think it is in a better state than Deepwoken is right now. I do believe Type Soul, at least for a small portion of it, is worth the amount of time you have to put in, even if some of the requirements for stuff like the true modes is a little bit ridiculous and I don't suggest getting them at all. This game also does have a fair bit of content for new players. I think maybe even a little bit more than Deepwoken, but that's just because you have to grind for so much. So, ultimately, I do kind of think it is worth the amount of time you have to put in. Now, does that mean that this game is worth playing? Not by yourself. I think if you have a bunch of friends who are willing to play it with you, I think this game can be a grand old time. I've had my few couple of snickers and laughs at it, but playing this game by yourself is kind of a miserable experience, and so I would not recommend it by yourself. I also think Cetro should be arrested, but what do I know? I'm just a guy on YouTube who makes videos about Roblox. Now this is the end of the review, but before you go, I really want to thank you guys for the amount of help you guys gave me on the Deepwoken video. A lot of you guys watched it, ended up leaving comments and stuff, and especially those people that gave negative feedback, I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me that you guys are willing to criticize me. So, I'll continue to try and make content like that and continue to improve on it. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. If you could leave a like and subscribe, that would be phenomenal. And until next time, toodaloo.